Hey, I'm Jusko from ProbMoney.com. Experian Go, a create your own credit report program, is going to be launching this week for people that do not have a credit history, and we're going to talk about what that means. But first, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to this YouTube channel if you've not already, and if you have already, I thank you for doing so. So an interesting report from the Wall Street Journal today that Experian is going to be launching this new program, Experian Go, this week, and it is going to allow people that have no credit history to actually start their own credit report with Experian. Experian being one of the three big credit reporting agencies, TransUnion and Equifax being the other two. So normally the way it works when you don't have a credit history is you don't have a credit report. And the only way that credit report gets started is if you somehow have credit. You have a credit card, you have a loan, maybe you're an authorized user on somebody else's credit report. But basically the credit card company or the bank or whoever has to have given you some sort of loan or at least attached you to somebody else's credit card. And then they will actually report to the big three credit reporting agencies on your payment history and that you have established account, that sort of thing. So you don't really have the power to start your own credit report. You have to get something first, get some sort of debt instrument, some sort of loan or credit card, and then they establish the credit report. So this sort of creates a chicken or egg situation for a lot of people when they are trying to get credit for the first time, because it's difficult to get credit when you don't have any credit history. So if you have no credit report and you go to get a credit card or a loan or whatever, they look to see your credit report and you don't have one. So then they think this person has no credit history and they're less likely to lend to you, or they're going to lend to you at higher rates. So Experian Go allows people that don't have a credit history to establish a credit report with Experian. Now you might look at this and say, well, that credit report is going to be empty. There's nothing in it. Is that any better, having an empty credit report versus no credit report at all? Well, this is where these sort of alternative accounts come into play that Experian and other credit reporting agencies and FICO as well in their credit scoring models have been trying to add things that don't normally get reported to the credit reporting agencies. Things like your utility bill, your phone bill, streaming services bills. Those aren't normally going to get reported to credit reporting agencies, but you as a consumer, you can sort of link your accounts with Experian and show them, look at all these bills I have been paying. And so that can actually become part of your credit record. And so Experian has already had a program called Experian Boost where you can do exactly this. You can link up all of those other sort of alternative accounts, show you're paying your utilities, your phone, whatever on time, and then that could boost your credit score. But that was for people that already had a credit score. Experian Go allows you to establish a credit score for the first time by establishing a credit report and then having those things reported, sort of manually reporting those accounts that would not normally get reported to the credit reporting agencies. So according to the Wall Street Journal article, Experian has been doing a pilot program, a test of the Experian Go program since October of 2021. And in that time, they have seen that when people establish that credit report and they link up those alternative data sources, those utility bills, phone bills, streaming, that kind of stuff, they are finding that people are not only able to establish a credit score for the first time, but the first score they are getting is on average a 665 FICO credit score, which qualifies them oftentimes for sort of the base level of credit cards in particular. They mention Capital One and Pedal as two cards that Experian not only is sort of helping you get to a point where you might qualify for those with that first credit score, but they are also pitching you on cards from those sort of partnerships they have with banks. So if you establish the credit report and you establish your first credit score, you might have an in with some of these banks that Experian is already partnered with, and that would help you get your first credit card if that is where you want to go. And on Experian's side, what is good for you is good for them because they are getting some affiliate commissions from those partnerships they have. So if they pitch you on a Capital One card and you go and get it, well, then they're going to make some money from the fact that they brought Capital One a new customer. So that is how the Experian Go program works. Now, a few points to make. Number one, I think this is a good addition to what is out there for people that don't have a credit history, establish that credit report for the first time. You use those sort of alternative sources of data, places that show that you have paid your bills on time, even if you haven't necessarily had credit before. So your whole credit report and credit score, historically and still for the most part, is built around having used debt before, a credit card or loans or that sort of thing. So you can be somebody that pays all your bills on time, but if you haven't had debt, almost doesn't matter. Now the credit reporting agencies are trying to do more, as well as FICO in terms of their credit scoring models, to let that alternative data be part of your credit score. And so this is another way that helps you do that. So if you're trying to get your first credit card, for example, you don't necessarily have to get a bad card that has annual fees or has super high interest rates. This can help you to establish a credit score without having to go into debt, or at least deal with debt in order to do it. Number two, Experian Go is really sort of an extension of the Experian Boost program that has existed for the last couple of years, but Experian Boost was established to help people that already had some sort of credit history so that they could increase their credit score by putting more onto their credit reports, those utility bills, phone bills, that sort of thing, but it wasn't really for people that had no credit history at all. So Experian Go is essentially Experian Boost for people with no credit history, the so-called credit invisible, so they can establish their credit report for the first time and get that alternative data onto it to get the ball rolling. And then number three, as the name suggests, Experian Go is only for Experian. So people that have a more established credit history, they actually have credit files with all three of the big credit reporting agencies, Experian, but then also TransUnion and Equifax. So if you establish a credit report with Experian and you get your first credit score through Experian, that's great. But if you then went to a lender and said, I want to get your credit card, or I want a loan or whatever, and they checked your Equifax credit report or your TransUnion credit report, they would say you don't have any credit history, and they might turn you down. And you can't go to that lender and say, well, check my Experian credit report, because that's really not how it works. The lender decides what they are going to check. However, because of the fact that Experian does have these relationships with certain credit card companies, if you establish that credit report with them and do establish a decent credit score from that alternative data, well then if they pitch you on a credit card from Capital One or Petal or someone else, and you actually get that credit card, what ends up happening is that credit card is then going to report to all three of the credit reporting agencies. So by getting that first credit card, or if you could get some other type of loan, well then that actually is going to report to TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. So even though it's not perfect in the fact that it is only on your Experian credit report to begin with, if it helps you get your first credit, well then that's going to report to those other agencies as well. So to me, this feels like a win-win. Experian helping people that don't have a credit history get established for the first time with a credit report, bring in some of that alternative data and get the ball rolling. And then from Experian's side, what they get out of the deal, besides the fact that maybe they can have a score for more of the lenders out there, is that they even have the relationships with the credit card companies. And if they can get you into your first credit card, well, then they can get a little commission on everyone that they bring to those credit card companies. So they're kind of playing both sides of things. They're selling their credit scores to the credit card companies and other lenders, but then they're also finding them new customers and getting a little cut of the action there. So that is it for this video. You got any questions, comments, put them in that comment section below. Otherwise, I thank you for watching. And as always, please go to proudmoney.com, where we do credit card reviews, we talk personal finance, we talk deals, and all sorts of other fun stuff too. Thanks for watching. Bye.